When you think of the most cruel Roman emperors, who comes to mind? Caligula, Nero, Elagabalus, Commodus? Well, if you didn't include Domitian, then let me introduce you to the bloody reality of the last Flavian emperor, whose secret life of sexual horror is so disturbing that it would make your skin crawl. But given the source, can we really know what happened inside those four walls? Join us today in this house as we talk about 8 things that shocked ancient Rome about Domitian. The tales of Domitian's chamber of lust have been passed down through history with explicit details. Ancient sources describe this hidden labyrinth as being reached by a secret stairway covered with carpets to muffle sound, leading to a spacious hall lit by torches. From there, one could enter several rooms with couches and places for reclining. Everything in this subterranean lair pointed towards sexual pleasure and gratification. He carefully selected people to be around him and demanded they gaze at him from beneath lowered eyelids to avoid the impression of staring. He frequently employed veils, masks, and mirrors, and when he invited someone to look at himself, it was a rare honor. People were astounded and disgusted, yet intrigued. They couldn't help but wonder about the goings-on inside the emperor's bedchamber. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more captivating historical tales. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Given that Domitian's chamber of lust was hidden beneath the ground and accessed through a secret passageway, it's possible that the rumors surrounding his sexual practices were exaggerated. However, despite the lack of physical evidence, the rumors persisted and spread throughout the empire. People talked about how Domitian hosted parties, inviting 8 men of only one type, bald, short, or fat, and how he chained noble women to chariots like horses, whipping them as they pulled him around. While we may never know the truth about what happened behind those closed doors, one thing is certain: the rumors alone were enough to shock the people of ancient Rome. To enhance his allure, he ordered that statues and portraits of himself be placed throughout the city, both in public and private. He instructed sculptors to capture his intense gaze, ensuring that anyone who encountered his image would be reminded of his presence. But perhaps the greatest irony was that, while Domitian obsessed over his appearance and commanded others to admire him, he preferred to remain hidden in the shadows, only revealing himself to a select few. There were perfumers and bathhouses, decorations and sculptures. It was truly a place of debauchery, and held feasts, inviting 8 men of only one type, bald, short, or fat. One historian described these gatherings as truly horrifying, with Domitian sometimes appearing as Jupiter and his 8 men dressed as hairy and horned savages or women. The scene must have been quite a sight to behold. But more importantly, it shows how depraved and demented Domitian's mind was. But that wasn't all. He dressed other men as hairy beasts, and whipped them as they pulled him around on a chariot like horses. This bizarre spectacle was witnessed by people strolling near the Palatine Hill. We don't know exactly what kind of chariots Domitian rode in, but given his obsession with everything related to horses, especially white horses, it is likely that he enjoyed riding in ones pulled by pairs of white horses adorned with gold ornaments. It's unknown whether slaves were allowed to bring the debauchery of taverns and brothels into these halls, or if the emperor's guests were expected to cater to his needs. Either way, this secret underground den was not only a place of sexual acts, but also of entertainment. The Flavian dynasty came to power after the Great Fire of Rome. To satisfy his endless desires, Domitian had a collection of masks and female impersonators that would make any drag queen blush. Domitian was known for inviting 8 men of only one type, bald, short, or fat. He was particularly fond of short men because they reminded him of his own stature. During his reign, he kept prostitutes out of taverns and brothels, believing that the money spent on them was better invested in providing grain subsidies to poor Romans. He enacted laws restricting women's dress, which may have been due to his own fetish for covering women in gold. In fact, he preferred women who looked like wet, glistening snakes, and his favorite position was to dominate women from above. It seemed like no one was safe from Domitian's perverted whims. These men wore elaborate costumes, wigs, and makeup. Some were bald and short like Domitian's, while others sported flowing red hair. When the emperor wanted to play with a particular performer, he would request them by name. And let's just say some of these performers had special talents. For example, one slave named Paris was known for his ability to urinate from a distance, and let's just say Domitian enjoyed watching him perform. Under Vespasian, they rebuilt Rome and established stability after years of civil war. Although Nero had enacted terrible persecutions against Christians, Vespasian was tolerant of all religions. He put an end to the infamous persecution of Jews and offered generous compensation to those who lost their property during the fire. Titus continued his father's policies, earning him the title the Good Emperor. But when Domitian took the throne, everything changed. People started whispering about how this new emperor wasn't like his predecessors, and while he initially tried to live up to the family name, his paranoia led him to become a tyrant. Historians describe him as a petty, spiteful, envious, arrogant, vindictive, malicious, dangerous, avaricious, suspicious, frivolous, jealous, cowardly, pedantic, indecisive man who enjoyed inflicting pain. So if you're wondering how he earned the nickname the Little Monster, now you know. Number 1. A golden age ruled with an iron fist. No. 2. The new Tower of Vice Domitian built a massive tower in the center of his palace complex, near the Dumas. This 7-story tall structure became known as the Tower of the Winds because of the elaborate system of water clocks installed at its top. It controlled the opening and closing of bronze shutters on each side of the tower, allowing the wind to pass through. This clock tower was used to tell time, but the real reason why it was constructed was to hide Domitian's vices. You see, this tower concealed his entrance into the underground labyrinth, which housed his infamous Chamber of Lust. No. 3. Beneath the palace, a labyrinth of horrors. Number 4. A menagerie of masks and mirrors. No. 5. Domination and delight. Of course, not everyone could enter the emperor's bedchamber. Number 6. A secret kept under veils. The emperor's face was rarely seen, according to Suetonius, because Domitian was too concerned about how he appeared to others. Number 7. Slaves, nymphs, and beasts. In his wildest moments, Domitian dressed as a god. Number 8. Whispers in the palace walls. Despite his best efforts to control the narrative, whispers of his sexual horrors leaked from the palace walls. And there you have it. 8 things that shocked ancient Rome about Domitian. What did you find most intriguing about his life? Which fact left you utterly amazed?